Lesson 7-6. Multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. Our essential question is, how do you multiply a monomial and a polynomial? A monomial and a polynomial. You may remember from a previous section that a monomial means one term. And remember that that term could have a constant number, a variable, or a product of constant number and multiple variables, one or more variables. You also may remember that a polynomial, poly means many, so a polynomial can just have many terms. So while monomial has just one term, because of the prefix mono, meaning one, the prefix poly means many. So we are going to take one term, a monomial, and multiply it by many terms, a polynomial. Okay, find each product. This is a review to begin because we've got a monomial times another monomial. And we worked with these earlier in chapter 7. We taught you that 6x to the third, if you expand it, would look like this. And then 4x squared would look like this. So then we taught you that if you multiply them together, the commutative property says it's okay to change the order when you're multiplying. So I will multiply 6 times 4, which is 24, and then these 3 x's multiplied by these 2 x's would give me a product of x to the fifth. So 24x to the fifth is the product of 6x to the third power and 4x to the second power. The next one, another set of monomials would look like this. And again, I could regroup them. So 10 times negative 7 is negative 70. And then combining this x with these 3 would give me x to the fourth. So that's multiplying together two monomials as a review. Here's another one with two monomials. So again, expand this, and if I regroup, 5 times 2 is 10, and then I can count, I have 2 a's here and 2 a's over here, so a to the fourth, and then 1b and 3 b's, b to the fourth. So that's just an example of two monomials that have multiple variables instead of just having one variable each. And then the bottom one, same thing, 2x to the third y, and then negative 7 x to the fourth y squared z. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. 3 x's and 4 x's would give me x to the seventh. 1 y and 2 y's, y to the third. And then the z did not have anything to combine with. So negative 14 x to the seventh, y to the third, z. Okay, now we're moving into a monomial times a polynomial. The only thing that we are going to do that's different from those first two examples that you saw is when you've got a monomial outside of parentheses, you can probably guess about what we're going to do with it. We're going to distribute it like this. So if I multiplied 6y times just 4y squared, I could expand it. Then I'm also multiplying 6y times negative 9y and 6y times negative 7. So all of these things are being added together. So 6y times 4y squared is 24y to the third power. 6y times negative 9y is negative 54y squared. And 6y times negative 7 is negative 42y. So that's just distributing the 6y and multiplying it by everything in the parentheses. Now, if you can do that without expanding, that's fine. And if you can do that without even writing out, like I did on this first one, writing out the 6y every time, that's fine as well. So on this one, 5a squared times negative 4a squared plus 5a squared times 2a plus 5a squared times negative 7. That's what it would look like if you write out your distributing step. Okay? Now multiplying those, I would get negative 20a to the 4th, and then plus 10a to the 3rd minus 35a squared. Just like that. Okay, our next example. It's a little bit more complicated because we have a longer polynomial and we have more variables that we're working with. So I have negative 5 cd to the 3rd times 3 cd to the 4th, and then I have negative 5 cd to the 3rd times negative 2d. I'm running out of room here. Negative 5 cd to the 3rd times negative c, and negative 5 cd to the 3rd times 9. So this one's got a lot more going on. If you need to expand these, please expand these. So expanding it would look like this. I'm just going to show you on the first one. That's just expanding my first product. So that would give me negative 15 c to the 2nd d to the 7th. So if you can do this without expanding, it's fine. But if you want to expand it out, go ahead and expand it out and take a look at it. And erase that so it doesn't look confusing. Okay, so this was negative 15 c to the 2nd, because there was a 1 here, and then d to the 7th. Okay, so I'm done with that product. My next one, if I multiply negative 5 and negative 2, I get positive 10. And then there's just one c here. And then I will have 4 d's, so d to the 4th. So now I'm done with that product. So move down to the next one. Negative 5 times a negative 1 would be positive 5. I have 2 c's, so c to the 2nd, and then d to the 3rd. So I'm done with that one. And last, negative 45.
Ms. Nordstrom, please follow sentence to table 1. Ms. Nordstrom to space 01.
So that one took a lot of space for me. Okay, the last one. Distributing. 2 times 4 is 8. X to the 4th times x to the 4th. That would give me 8 of them. And then y to the 4th. If I move down to my second term, 2 times 5 is 10. I have 4 x's and 3 x's, so x to the 7th, and then y to the 3rd. I'm done with that term, and then move down to the last one. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. I would have 5 x's because there's 1 here, and then 5 y's. So I'm multiplying my coefficient numbers, and I'm adding the exponents as long as the variables are the same. And that's the shortcut instead of expanding. Okay, you should be able to write a summary now about multiplying a monomial times a polynomial. Think about the steps and think about the method that you choose to use. And here are your homework problems.